People, I have no idea what just happened there. For some reason it just disconnected. I hope it did get stored and saved. I just had to restart that. No idea. I'll wrap it up in a few minutes. I just thought, well, no idea what happened there, as I'm just saying. The whole thing just shut down on me. Makes no sense. Nevertheless, right. Afwan. Let's take some quick questions and we'll wrap this up. I just hope it got saved. Right, so comments on the Shia brothers called the Deobandi Sheikh on YouTube about the Aisha and the Prophet drinking from another wife's house. Shia brothers call with the Deobandi Sheikh on YouTube about the Prophet drinking from another wife's house. I'm not sure what that means. I've not seen this comment. You see, the Shia, I've said before that, with the Shia general beliefs, you see, there's two things when it comes to the Shia in my understanding. One is the actual belief side of things, and one is the way forward where we are today. As far as the belief side is concerned, I do feel that generally the Shia beliefs are flawed, because they are based on just way too much emotion. It's a very emotional kind of saga, and I would say, look, more than anything, what I think the argument which is really against the Shia is that, you see, to say that the Prophet's wife or his best friends, in essence, were betrayers of the deen. Let's just say in the nicest way then. Okay, let's say the most nicest of Shia, or to say in a way, not to use the word betrayers, but let's say they were going to say people who were kind of antithetical. They were damaging to the Prophet's message. Let's put it like that. So they weren't people that helped the Prophet's message. They actually caused his message more harm. That to me would show that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that I'm just saying to an objective person, that would show that the Prophet made poor choices. That he couldn't even choose decent friends, and he couldn't even choose a decent wife. You see, so if anything, it's a failure. It reflects as a failure of the Prophet. God forbid. So although the Shia don't say that, but I'm just saying this is what it reflects to an objective person. So the Shia arguments in essence are just emotional. From an argument perspective, I think it is flawed. I think it has a lot of supernatural things in there, which is ironic because a lot of the Shia fiqh is based on reason. So they're very reason-based people. But their beliefs are very anti-counter reason. So their beliefs are like the Imams are infallible, can never make mistakes, stuff like this. So from a belief perspective, I'm not convinced at all from a belief perspective with the Shia kind of tradition. But that said, their fiqh is usually based on a lot of reason, which I applaud that. But then moving forward, so I said there's two things. One is the theology, and one is moving forward, the sociological perspective. I think, look, there's no point arguing with Shia. I think there's no point really having... I mean, if people want to have a dialogue, that's different. I think a debate in a dialogue form, I think is fine. But otherwise, I think, look, there's no point. We need to understand that we're not going to agree on certain things, and that's fine. It's okay to disagree. I mean, I don't accept those views of the Shia, but it's okay. Like, everybody doesn't have to think like me. Do you understand? Like, I'm not trying to say that, yes, they may not be fond of Muawiyah radiallahu anhu. I personally am very fond of Muawiyah I think Muawiyah radiallahu anhu was a great, what's the word? A strategist. I think one of the greatest strategists of our Islamic legacy. I think he was somebody that really knew public relations, how to handle, and I admire that in him. But that said, I understand the Shia would say that, would you accept that he made mistakes? I would say, I accept that. I mean, I mean, I don't know, maybe we may not agree on the specifics of these mistakes, but my point is, to me, I'm not saying these people were infallible or were some kind of angels on earth. I admire them, and they hold a high ranking position of respect in my mind for the kind of things that they did in general, like the way they were. So, as Muawiyah radiallahu anh, the way he could handle really tense situations in early Islam and manage to stabilize the entire region of Islam for 4 decades. 4 decades, following huge turbulences and civil wars, and after him was followed by huge turbulences and civil wars. So his 4 decades was of stability, yet he was not somebody perceptibly or ostensibly, somebody apparently ruling with an iron fist. The Shia may argue that he got his other henchmen to do that, which may be the case. I'm not saying he didn't, but he himself came across very diplomatically. And I think that's to me as a person, I find that an amazing skill and trait. But my point is, look, some Shia may say that look, we don't like Muawiyah radiallahu anh. Fine. I mean, like, I'm not saying, like, what I'm trying to say is, I know that, I get that you don't like him, and you have a narrative and an understanding where you feel he was oppressive. Fine. Like, we don't need to talk about that. We can just move forward as a, with the whatever, like, these things, we just won't talk about them then. It's no problem. Like, I don't think that's, do you get my point in what I'm saying? The call, I haven't heard the call, but you see, the problem as well, if I'm going to be honest, is I think a lot of the Sunnis do attack the Shia harshly. Okay. They attack the Shia really harsh, and they make a lot of fun of them. They mock them, they ridicule them, they call them all kinds of names. They say, you kafir, you're murtad, you don't believe in the Quran. I heard people saying stuff like, oh, your imams are like Power Rangers, and you believe in 12 Power Rangers. I don't know if Power Rangers are 12 or not, but that's what I heard somebody saying. And these kind of things, and this is utterly unacceptable. You see, even if we do not believe in the imam concept of these kind of infallible imams, like the way the Shia do, what we need to do is we need to show respect. Okay, we need to show, like, we disagree, disprove it through reason. Honestly, it's not difficult to disprove through reason some of these are, but then the problem is we're not people of reason, unfortunately. But we shouldn't be disrespecting them, because when we push them, they will push back, and then they start to say things obviously against certain companions, and then it infuriates certain Sunnis, and then they respond back with swears, and they respond back, and this is a never-ending vicious cycle. So I would say, look, I accept that certain Shia do, and I don't mean the outright right-wing fascist kind of Shia like Yasir al-Habib or those people. I mean the general Shia. Some general Shia may sometimes make some, they may make some kind of derogatory statements towards companions and things like this. I think it's unfortunate, but they may. But what I'm trying to say is, let's be honest. You just have to go online and see that Sunnis are doing sometimes 10 times worse to provoke them. And I just feel that the provocation needs to stop. And then obviously that needs to stop as well. They need to refrain, but we need to refrain from provoking them. And these debates in Hyde Park are useless. To me, these things are useless. Okay. I think, like, bringing up books with loads of, let's say, absurd Shia quotes, it does no good to anybody. It just breeds hatred. Like, so I think we shouldn't do stuff like that. We shouldn't, even if some of the, I'm sure many Shia books have absurdities in them. I'm sure many Sunni books have absurdities in them. I could start quoting to you books just I've got here that would have absurdities in them. This is all generally Sunni, unless there's some sectarian stuff, but otherwise it's all Sunni stuff. I could open things where they're saying things like, oh, we believe that all non-Muslims are not entitled to any, we believe this, we believe... People have been saying all kinds of stuff. But just because they said it, we don't need to agree with it. You understand? So people might say that people have said things that have been wrong. So if they were wrong, they were wrong. You know, like, but by us constantly bringing up, saying, hey, look, you know, like, hey, check this quote out. You know, it's just absurdities. It's like, I remember there was a book written once about against following the madhabs. What was it called? It was something about how following the madhabs is ta'assub. It was in Arabic that taqleed of the four madhabs is ta'assub or something. But in there, they just had a list of all the absurdities by several scholars within the fuqaha, within the madhab. Like, so one scholar had said, if a couple have sex, they need to do ghusl, which is a given. Okay, you need to kind of, there's a ritual wash, you just wash basically afterwards. So they had said, well, okay, so what if a man entirely enters into the vagina of a woman? This is, honestly, this is the this is the question. He was saying, what if he entirely enters? And you think, well, what the hell is going on in that guy's imagination? And he goes, okay, I'm going. Here goes. He's got that Rambo kind of in slow motion. First he did it for his country. Now he's doing it for his love. Right, so so they were saying like, ha ha ha, like, look at this stupidity. Now that is a stupid statement, it's true. But that doesn't mean because you follow a madhab, you're Hanafi, you're Maliki, you're Shafi'i, like you follow a school of law and interpretation, which in all sense is the only way to learn about Islam. It doesn't mean that you follow these stupid opinions. So, and then they had like another opinion that, let's say, that Ibn Abidin, I remember they quoted him on him saying that, like, if you're pointing, like, where should you face? Because there's a famous issue that there's some of the hills in Mecca are higher than the Kaaba. So should you be facing in that direction, or how do you face? And so they said, yes, you face at the Qibla, where the Kaaba is. But what if the Kaaba got up and started floating around? Should you still face that direction, or should you start facing the Kaaba as it's moving around? You can tell these guys were kind of like... So today's fiqh... Oh, right, sorry, I just realized that I dropped the mic. So today's fiqh is is the Kaaba is moving around, people. Where should we face? So these are the kind of absurdities that... So in this book, they had a hell of a lot of list of just... I was almost about to swear then. They had a list of just dumb stuff that people had said, and they were saying, ha 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 ha, follow madhab. And then, you know, it's like these were the geniuses from Najd, you know, those Bedouins. This is the thing, I mean, you look at they're even worse. But my point is that this was their refutation, and I agree with them that these opinions are absurd. But just because you align yourself to a particular way of thinking doesn't mean you have to honor every opinion that every damn man came up with. So, yeah, so that's my point. I hope that makes some sense. Was the Prophet a pagan before revelation? Astaghfirullah. No, of course the Prophet wasn't a pagan. The Prophet grew up... generally, they say that the Prophet was... The term used was Hanif, as in... recognizing the culture, but he would meditate, and he would understand, because even the Arabs believed in God. They believed in God. And ultimately they knew that this statue, like let's say here is a statue, right? They knew that this statue was not the ultimate God. They knew that. Because hence in the Quran it says, it quotes the Arabs saying that إِنَّمَا نَتَقَرَّبْ, we only use these so we can get closer to God. Zulfa, so we use these as a means to get close to God. So that's, I hope that answers that. So meditation, what was the Prophet doing in Mount Hira? The Prophet would meditate, and that was the general practice, okay, that people would just slow everything down and just to kind of block out the noise. Yeah, so I hope that's of some, any rapid round. I tell you what, let's take 1, 2, just quick. Yes, no, what's going on, what's going on? Does the crescent and the moon, what is the release date? Yeah, we've got I keep saying this, but we are actually researching into the whole second coming of Jesus thing. A lot of research. In fact, there's a book I'm going through by Hugo Munsterberg on witness testimony on the stand. Amazing book. Really recommend it. It's a classic, and he's like from the pioneers of forensic psychology. And I just got a book just this week arrive called, it's by a Dr. Alan A.H. Jones, is it, or something? But nevertheless, the book is called War and Peace, the Concept of the Messiah. And it's about the emergence of this concept of the Messiah in the Judaic tradition, how it evolved over millennia. A really fascinating read that I'm going through. So there's a lot of I'm trying to research a lot of angles into this. What is a rhetorical device? A rhetorical device is, oh, wait a minute, is this, I answered somebody a question yesterday about rhetorical device, if this is linked to that. A rhetorical device is how you use language, and you use it in a certain way. So somebody had asked me yesterday that why does Allah have the angels say that he will ask the angels to say certain things when Allah himself knows? So there could be two reasons for this. One, that this could just be a rhetorical device, that Allah is just saying it because human beings understand things like that. They understand them as a form of emphasis, like as in a way, like in a way when a person says, right, tell me, you tell me, what is he saying? Like, it's not that the person doesn't know, but it creates a form of emphasis. That's one. The other, so that's more like as a rhetorical device. You're not saying it to learn. It's what they call in Arabic, istifham taqririya. So sometimes you have this thing, like if you've, like in Urdu, that people do it a lot actually. Like, let's say you've come to somebody's house and they'll say, so you've come. So, even though it's obvious you've come, obviously you're there, but they'll say it's just a rhetorical, it's what they call taqririya, that you're just reinforcing the fact that this has happened. Now, the other aspect is that this is not real. That this is a system because men want that system. That when I say men, as in human beings, want there to be witnesses, and therefore God has the angels as witnesses. That's an aspect. How do monetize your knowledge? How do you earn from your knowledge? I don't earn from my knowledge, my friend. But I mean, I'm not sure how you want to earn from. What was the reason of Jang Siffin? Right, I've got a video already before on that. It's too lengthy to go into. It's the battle between the armies of Ali and Sham, Muawiyah radiallahu an, and Ali radiallahu an. But it happens in the year 37 Hijri. The year before 36 Hijri is the Battle of Basra, where Ali radiallahu an takes his armies from Medina to fight Zubayr and his army. Zubayr, Talha, Aisha radiallahu anhum. And it's a very problematic era in our history. Okay, but it's happened nevertheless. Why have you committed bid'ah by moving your Monday night's talk to Tuesday? Brilvies are definitely going to hate this. Right, I haven't moved it. Can you explain the hadith where it says on the authority of Abu Huraira, but for the Bani Israel, meat would never decay. This is a false hadith. It is in Bukhari that Abu Huraira transmits that meat would never go off if it wasn't for Bani Israel. So obviously that's it's a made up kind of statement. The Prophet would never have said things like this. In a hadith by Aisha, yep, I've answered that. How long did it take Allah to create the heavens and the earths? God knows. I was hardly sitting there saying, yep, God, well, yeah. If you can do the next galaxy a bit faster, please. I was hardly sitting there doing that. God knows. Our understanding so far is that this universe is probably, about 14 odd billion years old. Whether this universe has come from other universes, as in a spin-off from there, God knows, then that puts the whole thing back. Can you explain the reasoning behind the story of the people of the cave? I do have a video on that, the people of the cave. It does mention Allah is quoting them saying that 309 years. He is not saying that they slept for 309 years. Right, so I hope that helps. What is your opinion on Mahmud Ghaznawi and Taimur? That's a different debate. I think these people were just rulers who were Muslim. They weren't really on no Islamic mission, but they did, obviously along the way, people did convert to Islam. Was Imam Ghazali against jinn possession? I'm not really too sure. I think there was, one could say some of his writings incline that way. And where can we meet you, Sa'ad? Alright, well, inshallah, I'll have one of my lives, one of these lives, live at the Ark, one of the days this month. You can pop down then, inshallah. Hi, new Muslim here. Sarah Amadi, ahlan wa sahlan bik, ahlan wa sahlan. Who was Haji Abdul Wahab and why was everyone going crazy? Haji Abdul Wahab was a very respectable elder from Pakistan, Lahore, who was one of the senior figures in the Tablighi Jamaat movement. And he was one of the last remaining people of the Shura. So they had an international Shura that kind of led, which was the committee basically, or the council that led the Tablighi Jamaat worldwide. Recently, the Tablighi Jamaat have had a split because the Maulana Sa'ad, who's the principal, the head of the council, is saying it should ultimately be up to him. He should just become the global Amir. Some people are saying, no, there should always be a Shura. But the problem is, from all the Shura, the council, all other members had died off. There's only two remaining members, Maulana Sa'ad in India and Maulana Abdul Wahab, Haji Abdul Wahab from Lahore, Pakistan, who was incredibly senior in age. Many years ago, I went to Pakistan, when I was in Pakistan many years ago, so probably I was in Pakistan from probably the year 2000 till 2005, right? So during those years in Pakistan, I went to Raiwand, Lahore, where the main markaz of Tablighi Jamaat is, and I did stay there for not a long time, maybe just 2 days, 2-3 days. But I did see Haji Abdul Wahab then. I did meet him, shook hands with him. He was, even then, we're going back almost 2 decades. He then was a really old man. And subhanAllah, he's just passed away now. May Allah grant him an elevated maqam in Jannatul Firdaus. He was a person, as far as I'm aware, who was always very non-sectarian. And I have huge respect for that. Besides the fact that he was an elder, and we should have respect for our elders, he was also non-sectarian, and he did a lot of khidmah for this deen. May Allah reward him. It doesn't, just because you're not part of a particular movement doesn't mean you can't show respect to the elders from that movement. Right, so I do have much respect, and I make dua for him, inshallah. Abdul Wadud, wa alaykum assalam, ahlan wa sahlan. Why nature is cruel? That's a lengthy question. It has to be in order to kind of move on and evolve. Right, people, let's wrap this up. It's been over 2 hours. Whoa, people, what a vampire session. So, guys, remember to like. If you haven't liked my page, wait, if you haven't liked my page, right, if you haven't liked my page, What are you waiting for? A goddamn invite. Right, so you can like the thing, subscribe, my YouTube. I'm always uploading recent things, different clips. So, yep, any questions, reach out to me. You can message me. I have those two pages. This page, which is the public page, and the other page, Mufti Abu Layth, both of them. You can message me on either one. I do try to get back to you. Somebody said I've liked it twice. Acha, huh? Shane? Hey, trying to be... Instagram as well. I is now on the Instagram, you know. I is on the Instagram, huh? Oh, you coming fast? Oh, damn, that was it. Why are you coming fast? That mas'ala, he would have actually fitted that mas'ala spot on. Right, so this, yep, on Snapchat, Malm 2014, MALM 2014. People, right, much love and respect, inshallah. I'll leave you with that. We'll finish with the dua that subhanallah wa ta'ala amma yasifun, that Allah be transcendent above that which they ascribe to him. You know, when they ascribe all this kind of God, saying God is this kind of this control freak and sadist, and he's above subhanahu wa ta'ala amma yasifun, that which they ascribe onto him. And afdalus salat was salam, and the best of salutations and peace, ala al-qa'il al-mamnoon, upon the messenger who said, al-madinatu khayrun lakum law kuntum ta'lamun, that Medina is indeed better for you if but only you knew. Right, people, describe your book. Take very good care of yourself, inshallah. Till next week. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.